iconic sonic booms echoing through the corridors of commerce and skipping across the sea, the neighborhoods around the world. What a gift.
British entrepreneur Dill Fox has presented Trinity Church with a generous gift of 12 change-ringing bells.
Well, as it says on the tenor bell, it's simply to thank Manhattan for introducing me to capitalism and philanthropy. Always good to say thank you. Natural thing to put a ring of 12 in Trinity Church.
The Church of England has a requirement that every church has at least one bell to summon the faithful to worship. This is a tradition going back many hundreds of years, and actually was the seed of how full circle change ringing got developed. Change ringing is the ultimate team activity. When you have a band of ringers working together, they're fully engaged all the time. Think about football, you have a separate offense and a defense. You think about an orchestra, a section will take a rest at a time. When you're ringing bells, every ringer rings every change every time.
Trinity now has the only set of 12 tower bells hung for change ringing in the United States. Before the new bells could be installed, Trinity's old bells had to be removed, presenting an architectural and engineering challenge. Scaffolding had to be erected externally.
Well, we actually took out the central part of one of the windows in the bell chamber. And the bells had to be lifted up inside the tower one by one and moved out from the tower onto a little platform 120 feet up in the air and lowered to the ground.
The old chime bells were then shipped to Baltimore, Maryland, to be retuned, refurbished, and eventually returned. Meanwhile, the Dill Fox Educational Trust commissioned tailors Ayer and Smith in Loughborough, England, to make the new change-ringing bells.
My role in the process is as project manager for the Dill Fox Foundation, Dill Fox Educational Trust, and my job is to make sure that we deliver a really fine ring of bells.
Since 1784, Taylor's has been the world's leading bell founders. Their bell casting process remains virtually unchanged.
We start with a large metal base plate, and we build a core centre part or male part in mould using a profile which we call a crook or a strickle. We revolve it round and build up a centre shape which is the inside part of the bell, and it's a mixture of loam, brick, coke, chopped horse manure. We place that in a large baking oven and dry it, and at the same time we take the external part of the bell, the case, which again is a metal case, and we build between the walls of the case and the profile, the crook, and build the external shape of the bell. We place that into the oven and dry it. The two dry parts are taken out and again coated in a finer loam mix, and again they're dried. The outer part, the case, is taken out of the drying oven, it's placed on its side, and any inscription that the customer requires is placed in the outer part of the bell using letter type, badging, decoration. In the case of the Trinity bells, we're having special badges made which represent the Ancient Society of College Youth's logo. They're being impressed on every bell, plus the names of the ringers who are taking part in the first full peal on the bells, and a dedicatory inscription on the treble, the smallest bell, and the tenor, the largest bell, to commemorate this new ring of bells. All the inscription is placed in reverse type in moulds. The moulds have been completed and dried. The two halves are placed together. The male core has the female outer half placed onto that, and they're clamped together. There's an air gap between the two which represents the shape of the bell. They've been buried in the sand floor, and at that time we've heated bell metal, which is an alloy of copper and tin. We've heated that in the two furnaces and brought that up to around about 1200 centigrade. There's an element of impurity in that, and as you can see, the impurity is raked off, slagged off is the term we use, and Once the metal is sufficiently hot enough, 1200 centigrade, it's poured into the receiver, and we use the willow wand to purge the bell metal. Once it's been purged, the receiver is taken to each of the bell moulds, and we lift it over the mould, pour it into a receiving block, release the plug and pour the metal into the airspace that will become the bell. We keep pouring the metal in, so we have pressure feed that fills the mould and the air is driven out. And we move on to the second bell, and to the third bell, and to hopefully finish with a 100% pure bell that's ready for tuning.
The Trinity Bell casts were opened on August 10, 2006. The ring of 12 bells was then shipped across the Atlantic Ocean and arrived in New York City on October 3rd.
The new bells arrive very early in the morning because they're heavy and bulky and we have to park in Broadway to close it down.
Ron, do you want to stick this thing on the curb? You want to land it right there? Put this up to the front.
One by one, again, they're lifted up from the ground level using the big hoist in the scaffolding up to the platform at the top. It's a question of just jiggling them very, very slowly and cautiously into the tower through the window, where the inside hoist takes them over, and then they're lowered very, very gently and carefully onto the bearings of the new frame which was constructed.
Okay, let's rest of that for a minute.
On behalf of the Dilforks Educational Trust, I ask you to accept this gift of a ring of 12 bells to hang in the tower of Trinity Church. May they ever ring out the glory of God and further the work, witness and mission of this parish and community.
Dr. Fox, on behalf of the church wardens, vestrymen, and parishioners of the parish of Trinity Church, St. Paul's Chapel in the city of New York, we are delighted and honored to receive this generous gift. With joy and thanksgiving in our hearts, we bless the new bells. May they witness to God's power and glory, stir the hearts of all who hear them. And when these bells ring out, be reminded that God is with you wherever you are. In every moment, whether it be a solemn tolling or a celebrating party, these bells carry that iconic sonic boom throughout this city, skipping places around the world.